Hello, welcome to episode 15 of the Mel-Tran Designs Knitting Corner podcast. I'm your host, Melissa, also known as Anansi on Ravelry, and on Plurk, I'm Mel-Tran Designs. We also have a group on Ravelry called Mel-Tran Designs. Yeah, this is like the 20th time I've tried starting this video. I installed my webcam, my separate webcam, back on here because, well, not back on here, because the quality just has been crap the last few weeks, and that's not okay. And when I started last time, I had clicked take a picture, not record. I'm like going through a story, and then I realized, wait a minute, that's not red. There's no timer going. And I'd gone through like 15 minutes of my story. Yes, there's like 15 minutes of a story. You'll understand why. So, alrighty, we're just gonna jump back into what I had already said and all this other stuff. Today is Wednesday, March 20th. It is the first day of spring on the calendar. I say on the calendar because I saw posts of people with lots of snow going on. So here it is acting like spring. It was 45 when I got up this morning, and it had rained last night, so it smelled so wonderful. So hopefully wherever you are, the weather is treating you nicely, or will be soon. If you're in the southern hemisphere and it's hot, I don't want to hear you complain. Just kidding. I hope it cools off for you too if you're hot. Yeah, I think that's all I said before I started my story, as far as I remember. So we are actually hanging out today. I'm knitting on a sock, and we're talking about the drama that happened over the weekend. I'm going to fill you in on the wonderfulness that was clogging competition weekend drama. So before we go any further, pause this, go to the bathroom, get yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or a glass of milk and some Oreos, I don't care. Grab your knitting, whatever, and we are going to hang out and I'm going to tell you. So, Friday morning, I went to the chiropractor and got adjusted. I haven't been in about a year, and I'd been hurting nonstop for like a week. So, that will come into play a little bit later. I'm telling you that for a reason. I didn't want to have to drive 3 hours in pain and have to deal with the stress of competition weekend while in pain. So I went. I wasn't in a hurry to get out of town. If you remember, I didn't have to perform until 9:30 that night. So my sister and I left at about 4, which would have gotten us there between 7 and 7:30, and that allowed for a pit stop about halfway. So we're driving along, things were fine, we're hanging out, talking, you know, having a grand old time. We get off the freeway in Twin Falls, get to the bottom of the off-ramp, and I realize that my car's not running. I didn't hear it stop. It didn't like die this loud, obnoxious death. It just stopped running. I didn't realize it until I looked down and saw that all my lights were on. Well, that's weird. So I go to start it, and it sounded like it was supposed to be starting, but nothing happened. And I know how to identify kind of the kind of the common reasons why your car won't start. You know, if it's a dead battery or the starter has gone out or whatever. I've had that happen enough times in my life that I can identify those sounds. It was none of those. It really sounded like it was going to start. It wasn't doing like the it sounded like it was starting and not starting at the same time. All right, so luckily for us, it's not a really busy off-ramp. We were able to just push the car off the side of the road. Luckily the car weighed like nothing, so pushed it off the side. Well, she remembered that one of her friends who lives there used to be a mechanic. So she called him. In the meantime, a nice man had pulled over to see if he could help us, and he said that he hadn't heard that sound before. A state trooper pulls over, of course, because we're right off the freeway, and he listens, and he comes around and he says, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure your timing belt broke." All right, that's not too horribly expensive to replace. I've had to replace that before. Not too worried at this point. Okay, so we have to call the tow truck. Call the insurance guy, get that set up. Tow truck's coming. Well, back up. I get the phone number, who to call from the insurance guy. In the meantime, my sister's friend shows up. He says, he looks at it, yeah, your timing belt broke. All right. So I call the number to get the tow truck sent, and this woman was so difficult to work with because, not because she was mean or anything, because she wouldn't listen to me. I was trying to tell her where I was. The thing about Idaho, and if you live in kind of a rural state, you'll understand this. Streets aren't always marked very well, and even if they are, it's not necessarily the right name, like the name that the locals would call. Like if it's a highway, sometimes it'll have an actual name, you know, like a street name. So she wouldn't listen to me when I did tell her exactly where we were using Idaho words. And she's like, we need to have more of an exact location. I said, if you call and tell them this, they will understand. No, we have to have an exact location. And I'm like, okay, this. And I told her. She was still kind of confused, but she called the towing company anyway. She gets back on the phone with me and says, you know, he's on his way, and they know of a mechanic that'll be open on Saturday that they're going to tow your car to. Wonderful. The tow truck guy calls me about 5 minutes later. Where are you exactly? Because that woman made no sense. So I used the Idaho words that I had tried to use with her, and he's like, oh, I know exactly where that is. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Okay, woman, so when someone calls and says, I know my local area and you need to use this location, just listen. Eli, go get your bowl or your bag of cereal that you had. It's over by the step. Anyway, so we wait. Go find it. Okay. Go back and play, please. So we wait for the tow truck. He gets my car loaded up. We go over to the mechanic, who is obviously closed because at this point it's 6 o'clock on a Friday. Well, I find out that the closest rental car agency is out at their little teeny tiny airport 20 minutes outside of town. Tow truck guy can't take us there. If it was like 5 minutes away, he could have. He can't take us 20 minutes outside of town. So we have to call a taxi. Call the taxi. While we're waiting for him to come, I call the car rental place, get that all set up so that way it'll take less time once we get there. We have to wait for like 20 minutes for him. Then it takes 20 minutes to get out of town. We get the car rented, which didn't take very long. Didn't even check out the car. Got in and left. Like, adjusted my seat and started driving. You know, I can figure things out as I go. So we are hauling butt. I had called my clogging instructor and told him what was going on. He said, keep me updated. We were supposed to dance at 9:30. At 8:45, we're a few miles down the freeway, an hour and a half away. Do the math on that. So he called me and he said, where are you? I told him, I said, I can't be there by 9:30. He said, I'll push us back as much as I can. Call me in 30 minutes and tell me where you are. All right. He called me in 30 minutes, said, where are you? I told him I was set to be there at right about 9:55. My cruise control was set at 90. I was hoping and praying that there was no cops. With it being dark outside at this point and our state trooper cars being black, they can sit in the median, especially where we were, which is where no one is. They can be in the median, and because there are no lights anywhere, you can't see them. They just come out of nowhere. Or by the time you see them, it's too late. There was one time we passed a cop car. I had slowed down. The guy that I came up on, for some reason I slowed down instead of just rushing past him. Well, mainly because I don't like just rushing past people. Because I don't like when people do it to me. So I had slowed down a little bit. Luckily, I had slowed down enough that he didn't pull me over. and we were just hauling. Robbie called me a couple more times asking where I was, things like that. And I was set to be there at 9:55. He called me right when I was outside of town. I said, I'm outside of town. I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. He called me one last time. I was pulling into the parking lot and parking. And I said, I'm here, I'm parking. He said, run, we're lined up backstage. Okay. This is about the point in the story where I realized last time that I hadn't been recording, and I know it says only 10 minutes. I had babbled a little bit extra. So I'm going to pause and add this little part in that says, when you're getting ready to perform, you don't like to have to just rush on stage. It's nice to be there for a little while, kind of get pumped up, warm up, maybe practice a little bit, not be rushed. You want to be calm and you want to be ready. I parked the car, left the keys, left my sister who was coming, she grabbed my bag and ran at a full sprint to get inside. Ran downstairs, into the bathroom, start changing. Not a way to enter the stage, I tell you what. Right as I was finishing tying my second shoe, the assistant for our class comes in looking for me. I said, I'm finishing tying my shoe right now. I come out, she snaps up the back of my outfit, and I head backstage. The team was standing there. They were all excited that I got there, which was great. The parents had been very understanding, so I'm really lucky for that. We had about 3 minutes that we stood there that I was kind of warming up, trying to calm myself down. Not my nerves for performing. I was ready to perform. I know the dance really well. I wasn't worried about it. I did mess up on one part. I was not there. I did the best I could. I tried to get myself really just as focused on the performance as I could, and I think I did a good job. There was one spot that I messed up on, but I got back on and finished. So, anyways, we went on, we danced, we went off, waited about 2 minutes, went back on again and danced. We didn't even get to wear our second outfit because there just wasn't enough time. Did that one, and then we were done. It was drive like no other to dance for a total of about 3.5 minutes between the two dances, because each of them are about 1.5 minutes, 40-ish long. It was crazy. I apologized so many times to Robbie, and I said, I know I messed up. I'm so sorry. And he said, I don't even think you have finished getting here yet. I think you're still somewhere on the freeway. I said, yeah, kind of. They were happy that I was there. He was happy that I was able to make it. And then to close out the night, they did the cha-cha slide, which was so much fun. And all the dancers run up on stage and do it. And it was a blast. It was a great way to dance off the stress because I didn't have to worry about remembering anything because they tell you all the steps to do. So that was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And then we stayed for the awards. Our team did get something I don't even remember. By that point, my brain was fried. The stress of competition weekend is enough. And then to add car crap on top of that, my brain was on overload. And by this point, it was like 10:30 at night. So we leave there. We go get checked into our hotel, ask where a fast food place is that's possibly open, and there was a Jack in the Box. So we take our stuff to our room, go to Jack in the Box, and I wasn't hungry at this point. I was still all hyped up on adrenaline, but my sister offered to buy me food, and I'm not going to turn down Jack in the Box curly fries, ever. Even if I'm not hungry, I'll eat them because they're so good. So I got fries and a sandwich. We get back to the hotel, and that's when the day just it was just like, I was done running around. I was done competing. I was done doing anything but sitting. And then I got really hungry, and I was very happy to have that food. So We got settled in, ate. I jumped in on a quick little VKN with Fiona for a few minutes. And we went to bed. It was 1 o'clock by the time we went to bed. It was crazy. So got to sleep in the next day because I didn't have to perform until 6:30 that night. My sister met her friend for breakfast. I did get up just in time to hit the continental breakfast that the hotel offered. Took it back upstairs with me, and she was gone for a couple hours. Our checkout time wasn't until noon. So I sat, if you're on Plurk, you saw my picture where I had ice on my knees and knitting in my hands. And I wasn't icing them because they hurt per se. They were tired and they'd kind of taken a beating the day before. So I sat with ice packs on my knees and watched TV, which I never get to do because we don't have TV. I watch TV shows. Excuse me. I watch TV shows on my computer, but I don't get to ever just sit and watch TV, and it was nice. So I'll show you what I was knitting on a little bit later when I finish my story. So then we got checked out, and I found the little yarn store in town. So we went over there, and I did buy a couple things, not a lot, but that'll be in acquisitions. And then we decided just to walk downtown because it's right in the heart of their historic downtown, or old town, I think is what they call it, Old Town Pocatello or something like that. And they have a really cute little downtown area with lots of shops. So we walked around and we found an antique store to go in. I love antique stores. This place was packed full of stuff. I mean, seriously, you walk in and you're in a big room, and then there's a big room behind that and a smaller room behind that, and there's a downstairs with 2 different rooms. I mean, I was so, by the time we were done, I was just like, Cheryl, I have to leave this place. We'd been in there for an hour and a half or something like that. But while we were there, we did find a couple of treasures. I say a couple, I mean like 15. You'll see them later. They're not big. I am going to show you though because they're super, super cute and I'm really excited about them. She found a couple things to buy and also something for our other sister. And I found a Monopoly game. Jake loves Monopoly. And this is, the one that I found was, I'm not going to say antique, but it was one of the original, like the old school pewter, pieces, and just the one that I grew up playing with. And it wasn't horribly expensive. It was like $8, and I was like, this is totally going to be for Jake. It wasn't for a present, like for an occasion. I was just like, I want to get this for him. So I did. So we paid, decided we wanted some lunch. Couldn't figure out what we wanted. We did go into Harvest Classic Bread, Harvest Bread Company, whatever. Anyway, all we wanted was 2 sandwiches and a bowl of soup. And the girl says, well, it's going to be about 40 minutes. 40 minutes? Well, yeah, I have 4 sandwiches to make ahead of you. 4 sandwiches take 40 minutes? Well, yeah, when they're the hot sandwiches. Why on earth would this place have one person on a Saturday working when they know that if 4 people walk in, it's going to take more than half an hour? And I said, you know what, never mind. We'll find somewhere else to eat because that's ridiculous. And she's like, I'm sorry. I said, no biggie, we'll just go find somewhere else to eat. We had parked outside of a soup and sandwich place anyways, and I had wanted to eat there, but I wanted to buy a loaf of bread from Harvest, which I did, and it wasn't very good. It was the jalapeno cheddar, and I usually get like the cinnamon swirl one. They didn't have that one, and we like jalapeno cheddar bread, but it tasted weird. I don't know. Anyway, but we went into this little place. It's called Renee's Rolls. Super cute little place. I mean, I'm not even going to go into what all they have because I don't even know what all they have. They had so many different things to choose from. What I got was a turkey sandwich and a bowl of turkey, wild rice, turkey, chicken and wild rice soup. And they had a homemade, not really a Danish. It was kind of like a braid of bread that had some berry sauce on the top of it. It didn't have a sign. I just said, "How much are those, and what flavor is that?" And he said it's triple berry, and the dough we use is the same dough from our cinnamon rolls. And I said, "I want one of those too." So it was really good, and it totally tasted like cinnamon roll dough. The sandwich, instead of being regular bread, it was long like a sub sandwich, cut in half, but it was biscuit bread, so good. And then to top it off, I had root beer flavored milk. Yeah, they had just like boxes, like a juice box size of all these different types of milk, and they had vanilla and strawberry and stuff, and they had root beer. You better believe I spent 99 cents and tasted that because it was so good. Like, I could not. It was so good. It tasted like a melted root beer float. Yummy, yummy. I asked him if there was like a store you could buy him at, and he said that the place he got him was in Salt Lake. I'm going to be in Salt Lake in May. Totally going to look it up. I took a picture of it so I remember the brand. Anyway, so we ate. While we were there, I get a call from the mechanic. He says, "We replaced your timing belt, but," of course there's a but. "Sorry, Eli, you need to figure it out yourself. I'm recording." So, you never want to hear but from the mechanic. He says, "The timing belt keeps the piston from hitting the valves. When the timing belt broke, the pistons hit the valves, bending them." I said, "Okay, what does it take to replace them?" I said, "How much are we looking at for replacing the valves?" He says, "Well, we have to take the engine completely out of the car. Red flags are going up. Not red flags, but like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching is going up because I know what it costs when they have to take the engine out of the car." He says, "So that's going to start at $1,600. Then we'll figure out how many valves need to be replaced, and the cost will go up from there based on how many of them are bent and how many need to be replaced and anything else damage that we find from that happening. So we're looking at over $2,000. I said, "No, the car's not even worth that. Let me think." I hadn't even eaten at this point. I said, let me eat and I'll call you back." So I called my husband, and we were both in agreement that we were not going to pay that. We didn't have the money to pay it, first of all, and we wouldn't have paid it anyway. So I call him back and I said, I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay for it to be fixed. I can't do it. And I said, so I also can't tow it back to Boise, Nampa, from Twin Falls. That's 150 miles away. I said, so what do we do? And he said, well, we can dispose of it if you'd like. You can mail us the title and we'll take care of it. I said, fine. There are points in your life where you cut your losses, and this was one of them. I have never liked that car, really. I liked it well enough to drive it. It was a placeholder car that I'd had for one day less than a year. I was fine just cutting my losses and walking away. So yeah, that's what happened. After lunch, after we were done eating, it was like 4 o'clock at this point. We decided just to head over to the clogging competition and hang out there and watch some performances and allow me to have what I didn't have the day before. So we did. We got to watch some teams and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Then I got my shoes on, got warmed up. I did my acapella first, which I hadn't been able to compete yet. That was a lot of fun because I moved up in difficulty levels up to the advanced category this year, and I felt really good about it. So I did that first, and then I had about 25 minutes before doing the other solo. Went and did that, and then I was done for the day. So I went and changed out of my clogging shoes, and we just kind of sat and enjoyed for a little while. I was waiting for my results that never showed up. I finally had to go online and get them. We finally just left. Um, so we sat and watched some teams, which was a lot of fun because on the second day is the higher category people. There's advanced, champ, and pro, and they were up at the champ and pro level. So that was a lot of fun. Then I went to Sassy Sheep's house, Sarah, and spent the night, and that was lots of fun. I got to help her. She had just finished dyeing some fiber, so after she rinsed it, we went downstairs and hung it to dry. I do have some pictures that I might attempt to put in at the end of this. I still haven't really played with adding pictures to the podcast at all. I need to just record one that I don't care, or just kind of record and then play with it a little bit. I will try to show you though, at least on my phone. That way, if I don't figure out how to do it, you can at least have seen, and hopefully, oh, it's not. Oh yeah, this doesn't focus. Dang it! Now I have the crappy one that doesn't focus. Anyway, you can see there's 42 skeins of her twinkle sock there. So that was fun. We drove back Sunday. I turned in the rental car, grabbed another rental car, finished my way home, then talked to Jake Sunday night about what we were going to do about the car situation. I'll kind of speed up now that I'm 27 minutes in. We decided that we wanted to get a new car. Well, I mean, we obviously had to get a new car. I wanted a new car. I've never had a brand new car before. I loved the one that I was driving all weekend, and I showed it to him. The price really wasn't horrible. And Monday, I went about doing that. Eli and I hit the bank first. They wanted to take a week to tell me if I was going to qualify. I said, nope, sorry, I don't have that kind of time. I'm in a rental car till 4 o'clock this afternoon. Went to the dealership, well, called our friend, a family friend who is a car salesman. I said, I need a new car. He said, okay, come down. I walked in, we chatted for a little bit. I said, I want to walk out of here with a Chevy Sonic. And he said, all right, let's do it. We went and test drove it. I didn't need to test drive it. I'd been driving it all weekend. But we drove it to Boise to see Jake so he could see it. Took him on a bit of a drive and went back, got things moving along with that. And he said, all right, you have to leave for a couple hours. Come back after you pick your girls up, drop your rental car off, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we'll get things going or done. I said, what are the chances that this won't go through? Because I've never been able to get any sort of a loan except for student loans without some sort of a cosigner. We've bought a couple of cars in the past, had to have a cosigner, you know, things like that. Always had to have a cosigner. And we hadn't so far. And my dad was kind of on alert. I had told him I might be calling to ask. So because we're working on fixing our credit and getting everything caught up and all this, like my student loans and whatnot, but we're not quite there yet. So I didn't know how it would work. Anyway, I said, what's the chances that this won't go through? And he said, about 12%. I said, all right, I'm going to try and focus on the 88% chance that it will work. I went to Walmart, got home, and got a phone call, and he said, I don't know all the details, but I got the thumbs up. Your loan has been approved. Yay! All right. So fast forward to dropping the rental car off, came back to Nampa, got there. It took forever to do all the paperwork. They're just the processing stuff. They weren't doing anything on purpose. It was just printing stuff out, finalizing things, deciding if we wanted the extra warranty coverage, you know, things like that. They weren't pulling any tricks. It just seemed like a long time because I'd already been there that day. We had both Kyan and Eli, who, you know, she was in her after school high and all this. Anyway, it felt like it took forever, which I don't know. Anyway, so we extended the warranty. We now have a 10-year, 100,000-mile bumper to bumper coverage and all this other Uber stuff. My new car is amazing. It's a 2013 Chevy Sonic Blue Topaz. And it's like fully loaded. I mean, fully loaded. We figured if we're gonna buy a brand new car, spend the extra $1,000 and get all the bells and whistles. Might as well. We're gonna be paying on it for a while anyway. So, yeah, it has a touch screen radio thing. It Bluetooth connects to my phone, so when I make a phone call, I can do it on the touch screen and you can hear it in the whole car, and I don't have to touch my phone. I can do Pandora on the radio through my phone. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It has the you know how radios have the auxiliary input? It's built into like this separate jockey box or glove box, depending on what part of the country you're from. And it has a USB right there too. Charger. Ugh. Automatic everything, electric everything, digital speedometer, so many things that can break. I see that too as these things can break, guess what? Bumper to bumper. It doesn't matter if it breaks. I don't care if it breaks because I can just have it fixed. We also have oil changes for the next 5 years. You get spoiled when you buy a brand new car. Like, I was called the next day asking how everything was going. Ron, who's the man that sold us the car, he said, yeah, they call me when you bring your car in to get the oil changed. I come down and look at it myself. I see how you guys are doing. Wow. Talk about VIP treatment for, like, this poor girl from Idaho. So, for all of you that are going, you are so stupid to buy a brand new car, I agree. It is stupid to buy a brand new car within reason because it drops in value as soon as you drive it off the lot, and I'm fully aware of that. But we plan on having it for a very long time. That's why we got the extended coverage. We are going to run the crap out of this car. I mean, I'm going to run it into the dirt until there is just nothing left and it will not go another inch. And that's why we decided to get the best that we possibly could because, and with the extended warranty, because we are going to have it for a long time. So anyways, I will put a picture, and I have a picture on my phone. I'm not going to try to get this thing to focus on it. I'll try to put it in. If not, check me out on Plurk, or I'll put a picture of it on the Ravelry, in the Ravelry group. All right, now that we're 33 minutes in, let's talk about the knitting. Okay? I know that a lot of people enjoy the weekend review and don't mind when it's a little bit longer. If it does bother you, I'm sorry. That's just kind of how this week was. And if you've watched it before, you know that I don't always have quite this much to talk about. So, also, the spin-in that I'm going to in Northern Idaho is this weekend, not next weekend. I was given incorrect information. I am going still. I get to drive my brand new car. It's awesome. And, oh, the car had 10 miles on it when I first got into it. Just saying. Okay, I know. All car, all the time. And that's probably what I'm going to call this. All right, you saw me working on this. This is my Fiber Nymph Dye Works Desire Base plain vanilla self-striping sock in her Let Me Love You color from Valentine's Day. When I first started talking, I had just started the white stripe. So, and over the weekend, I think I was on this white stripe down here. This is on my size 1 Chiaogu, which is a 2.25 millimeter. I'm not in a hurry to finish these. I just kind of work on them here and there. I've been taking them in my purse with me and things like that. So, no hurry. Next, I have the Lunatic Fringe shawl that I talked about last week. The one that's kind of ironic because I don't enjoy fringe, but I fell in love with this shawl. I do have a picture of it printed out that I will show you, and it's a free pattern on Knitty, and it's by Jennifer Dassow, I'm guessing. Dassow. So there's what it looks like. And see, it has the knitted on fringe on the side there, so it's not like when you cut and have all the strands hanging down. I actually did quite a bit on this because, well, I have the pattern memorized. So the yarn is some hand spun that I made last year out of 2 bats from the Sassy Sheep. The bats didn't actually have a colorway. I called it chocolate covered cherries because it's a dark red, a brown, and a white. It's knitting up, let me see, it's knitting up beautifully. Oh, sorry, stop apologizing. I am apologizing though, because I'm sorry it's jumping all over the place. There we go. The hand spun is knitting up beautifully and being shown off really well, and it's so soft. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of the little tentacles off the side. The pattern is super, super easy, and like I said, I have it memorized. I'm really enjoying working with the yarn and the pattern. I mean, this is just a great project, and I'm happy that I'm making it. I'm doing it on size 6, which is 4.0 millimeter needles. Like I said, out of my hand spun. That's not what the pattern calls for. I adjusted it. It calls for a worsted weight and size 9s, but this is what I had and it's what I wanted to use. So, all right, next is my mystery shawl, the Graphic Infection by Josh Ricks. And this is Haley's. Mine hasn't been touched. And this is Clue 3, and I've only done 6 rows of it so far. I took it with me this weekend and didn't work on it. So I did do 6 rows on it yesterday. I will do more on it today. And I at least want to have Clue 3 on this one done by the time the next clue comes out, just so at least I'm caught up on one of them. So that is on size 5, which is what, 3.75 millimeter. And the yarn is Huckleberry Knit. The blue is Huckleberry Knits in a custom color in her MCN base. And the red is Indigo Dragonfly. When I bit into him, I could hear the ocean, also in their MCN base. Why is my phone flashing? Oh, I'm getting these. Do you want this? Do you want this? Stupid text on my phone. All right. Next is Eli's sweater. This is the Hot Shot by the person that I named last week. It's out of the Little Rascals ebook, and it's Julia Stanfield. It's the rainbow one. I don't remember how much I had finished last week, and I didn't go back to watch, but it is, the body is completely finished. I think I might have, I don't remember. Anyway, the body is completely done, and now I'm working on the hood. I have, if my measurements are close to what I'm thinking, I should just have a green and a yellow stripe to go before I start doing the top of the hood decreases. So it's getting close to being done. I decided not to take it with me this last weekend. I just didn't want to, so I didn't. And then I'll have the kangaroo pocket left to do, but at least with the hood done and stuff, he could wear it if he wanted to for a little bit before the pocket was on. It would be up to him. The bottom is kind of curling a little bit, but I think when I block it, it'll stay down. Otherwise, I'll go through and kind of do a stitch on the back to make it. So anyway, there's that. And this is out of Knit Picks Swish DK. It's their 100% superwash merino. And I have little balls of color in my bag. Okay, next on the needles, I have been working on my test knit for Kimberlolly. I actually probably will put stuff.
I'm hungry.
Okay, can you wait just a minute? I'm almost done. Do you want some more cereal? Did you have cereal? Go eat your cereal. So this is the Giving Flower mitts that I've been making for her, test knitting for her. The blue is MCN from Onzula. The gray is Swan Island yarn that's 100% organic merino, and the red is 100% mountain merino from Montana. Anyway, I am going to try to actually finish this today because I need to get it done for her and give her the feedback. I mean, the pattern looks great, so but I need to get a project page made and stuff like that. That's mine. I have not worked on. Is that everything? No. Yes. Oh, what's this? Oh, yep, haven't worked on that. Yeah, I guess that's all. I do have one other thing that I'm not going to show you. It's not because it's like, ooh, I have secret knitting and it's like fancy or anything. It's going to be a present. So I'm just going to tell you that there is something else that I'm working on, but because it's a gift, I'm not going to show it right now. But you'll see when it's done. All right, on to spinning. I haven't really spun a lot. I did spin a little bit this weekend on my drop spindle. I took it with me. I finished the first half of the pigtail that I was working on, and since I have my Nasta pin in my awesome high-tech Jelly Belly spindle box, I finished the first half, and then this is almost all of the second half. Here's the rest of the second half. Sorry, it looked funny. So here's the rest of the second half, and then I will be able to, so this is half of the second half, so this is about a quarter of it, I guess. And then I'll apply them together. But anyway, so there we go. I don't know if this is BFL or Polworth. Let me see, is this, yeah, Autumn Flame BFL from Greenwood Fibers. So that is all the spinning. I didn't pull out my wheel. Designing the Cursed Cable Sock test knit is coming to an end. I got updates from almost everyone. There's a couple people who I haven't managed to be able to get a hold of. I earburned them and private clerked them. Hopefully they'll respond because they got a free pattern. But other than that, everyone else has responded and given me updates, and it's looking good. I do have the pictures uploaded now to PhotoBucket. I'll be able to get them onto my, pull them off onto my computer, and make it pretty, and then be done. So look for that to be released. I will be having a coupon code that will be announced, and yeah. Look for an announcement on Plurk and in my Ravelry group when it goes live. And I will have the coupon code probably go for 2 weeks, especially since I'm recording and it's not here. I will be giving it to the Stockinette Zombies though as well. So let me think. They record tonight. I might have it published very soon. So look for an announcement. In fact, I'll just tell you that the coupon code is going to be cursed. I'm going to keep it simple. Type in the word cursed. You'll get, what had I decided on? How much am I going to sell it for? You'll get $1 off. Whatever the price is, you'll get $1 off. Put in the word cursed. It's going to go for 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. I don't know what that date is. I'm really not with it, am I? I apologize. 2 weeks from today is April 3rd. 2 days before my birthday. Coming up on April 5th. Yes, you have from today until April 3rd to put in the coupon code cursed. Look on my Ravelry group for a link. Look on Plurk, or message me if you don't see it anywhere else. That is what I have right now for designing. I do have a couple of other things going in my brain. I need to get some stuff off the needles so I can open up some brain space. Acquisitions. Oh, it's 44 minutes already. I'm going to go quickly through acquisitions. At the yarn store, I grabbed some dark orange Cascade Heritage sock yarn. That is not showing up right. It's not yellow whatsoever. It's very deep dark orange and it's awesome. This is for a pair of socks that my brain came up with that needs just knits and purls, and it needs to show up, and I didn't have any solid colored sock yarn. So there's this. I also got 2 skeins of the Heritage Silk in no big surprise, gray and teal. My plan is to make a daybreak with this because I've been wanting to make one for quite some time. We'll see if that is what it turns into, because I said if Josh does another 2-color shawl that I fall in love with, I might have to do that one instead. But this plan is to be a daybreak. While I was there, I also got little buttons for the top part of Eli's sweater. They had some, and sorry if that's loud, these are going to be super cute on there. It's a little truck. Isn't that adorable? I love it. All right, this next part is what's going to take a few minutes, which is why I'm hurrying. And after this, I'll be done. When I was at the antique store, I collect shoe figurines, all right? That's just what I love and what I'm into. And I had started collecting them a while ago, and Anansi broke a couple of them. She was pretty little, so I stopped. I hit the mother load at this place. I didn't even buy all of them. They're called Just the Right Shoe, and it says that on the bottom, Just the Right Shoe. Stupid thing doesn't focus. Anyway, I'm going to show them to you really quick. I got like 15 of them. So here's the first one. It's my favorite. And we have this one. And then we have this one. I love this one too. This one's one of my favorites. I don't know what it is about it, but I do love this one. Have some camo going on. I have this cute one with the flowers. This is my other favorite one. I think my 2 favorites are my favorite because I would actually, well, I wouldn't wear something with a silver heel, but because they're like a style that I would actually wear. I think that's why. This one. Sorry if I'm going super fast. Most people probably aren't going to care about the little shoes, and they're just little shoes anyway, so there's that. This one makes me want to make a little hand knit sock and put it inside of it, because you can wear your hand knit socks with clogs. This one is not my favorite, but I bought it because of the measuring tape. It's the closest thing to knitting related that I could find. And there's this one. This one I actually didn't buy because I liked it a lot. I bought it because I knew my kids would love it. Because look, it has the peacock feather right there. And then lastly, the look of this is not my favorite, but it's still by the same company. It's a pretend purse, but it's a little music box. Cute, huh? She gave me a really great deal on them. She's like, since you're buying so many, and she just like kept cutting down how much I had to pay her. So anyway, I'm in it for less than 54 minutes, and half of it was talking about my weekend. Yay! All right. It was kind of a whirlwind of an episode. I hope your week is wonderful. I hope when I talk to you next week, it will not have so much drama to talk about. Please join me on the VKNs. We have them going all the time, pretty much. I'm not literally, but there's always one going somewhere. And if you want to start one, let me know. Start it yourself. Invite people. Come hang out. Yeah, I will be out of town this weekend. I do plan on taking my webcam, my computer, so I can maybe record a little bit from the spin-in, and I will be hanging out with Sarah from the Sassy Sheep again. 3 times in 1 month? What is this? She has a bunch more yarn that just came in, a whole bunch of Renaissance, which is the 750 yard, $30 skein that she will be dyeing up. Things will be going up in the Etsy shop, so look for that soon, and I will be definitely talking about that a lot. All right, that is all I have. Until next week, have a wonderful week. I hope whatever comes your way, you're able to handle it with style and grace. And yeah, have a great week. Until then, till next time, keep knitting. Bye.